Hello Blender folks, welcome and welcome back. This is Pxy-STUDY. So today this is not the regular world building stream, although I'm gonna start that later today, Monday night in my place. Let's adjust the sound volume for this. Okay, the soundtrack. Okay, SimCity 4. So today we're gonna make some study, as you may have seen from the thumbnail. There is this rig, so a YouTuber named Edward Urania, so apparently a very talented rigger with some very quite impressive content like this one and this one. Not absolutely new things in the sense of, well, this is CurveNet adaptation to Blender, and this one, well, this is 3 months ago, and like 1 year ago we have in the Zajic from Blender Studio was presenting a geometry nodes rig using some UV, but this geometry nodes was very complicated. I thought he made it into an add-on, but I ended up not finding how to reproduce this or get the add-on. I didn't find enough document information, so I don't know what happened to this, but apparently there was a geometry nodes for this Wing It short feature film for Blender Studio. One of the issues of this rig, however, I think it's fixable. But I will have to have put my hands into it to know. You see, it's very hard to get. There's not a proposition here to get lips, volume, lips anatomy. So those Cartoony, same for here. All the presentation here is something like very flat, but I think I can build on top of this if I can. I have a technique that allows something like that, which is the anatomic lip. I'm not sure it is enabled here. It's very simple, but no one used this apparently, and this can solve, provided it can be made. Yeah, so all the mesh there is changed. This is wrong. So it creates the anatomy from a constant, and this is good because if the lips geometry is simple, then it doesn't suffer from hold on, let's turn it off. It doesn't suffer from okay, here it doesn't suffer from the skinning, so it bypasses the armature modifier. So because when we made anyways, I'm not gonna explain that concept. So this is one thing that I want to implement, try to see, because differently than this other one old time ago. Okay, so this is another thing about this same Urania here, this rigger with this YouTube channel. I haven't watched too many things here, but the things that caught my attention were these 3 things here, right? So this is exactly the kind of character design that matters for me. So apparently for this one he was using this setup like this, I believe, but this is more like a demo. And anyways, and here the CurveNet, this they use this for the face, if I'm not wrong, upgraded face for Rigify add-on extension, Cloud Rig feature set, or now an extension as well in Blender can be has this setup. But the problem that I found with this in Blender is that, well, okay, this is spline skinning for the bendy bones, but it's not good for the joints because it still does not prevent the, unless of course there would be a way to get the spline skinning exactly on the joints. And so what seems to me that happens, I have already tried, I never was successful, so I believe what happens that on the beginning of the bendy bone which is a deformed bone. In this case, it will still be operating in the linear blend skinning method, and so this will ruin the joints. So maybe there's a workaround, right? And of course the bendy bone, it's good for the muscle because, or the profile. This is why the things in by Pixar, some presentation about that was called curve net, and with profile curves. Those profile curves, they really mean this. It's the profile. So you can have I have here a profile curve, in this sense a bendy bone, along making this curve of the nose bridge. And so this is the idea is to have this profile everywhere. So the profile will be the side view, but now the profile in this sense is everywhere. So it's like cuts, slices on the mesh. And so this is very good for this right. You can use profile curve for the contour of the ear, so you have total control, not total, but if the bendy bones waves are really the waves of those vertices, without too much disputing of the waves, then yes, we'll have very keen, accurate deforms following the bendy bone curve, which has in its own fake curve. Yeah, it's an inbuilt curve, like a curve of a curve object. Anyways, but it's a curve without a curve object, right? It's inbuilt into the bendy bone itself, and it's like spline skinning, right? Just like spline IK bone constraint. It's used a different skinning method. And then I was just thinking, if that is true, then of course for the case of a joint, imagine that I would have to have a bendy bone that needs to be already rotated from the rest position like that, right? So this I never tried, because actually Blender recently, not too long ago, updated the bendy bone skinning algorithm. I think this is still skinning. Yeah, it's probably the skinning for the. So the curved would be for those more exaggerated curvatures when the bendy bone is bent already on the rest position and not straight, which was the default one. So maybe if we have a tiny bendy bone here, then I could emulate a joint. So I have no idea why, if this is true. It should be simple to test, but of course we'd like to test this into a very difficult case, right? To see if that it's really effective, right? We already know that, well, I know, right? But if you have been rigging for a while, you might have known already, organic rigging, that the joints, the rotations, right, they are of the deformed bones of the mesh that is deformed, that it's soft, it suffers from rotational artifacts, which are one of the most frustrating things in rigging characters. Okay, in not only Blender, most other software, because they all use a skinning method, skinning algorithm that is of the Stone Age of linear blend skinning, LBS method, right, from the early age of sort of rigging, 3D rigging of CG, computer graphics. Alright folks, so here what I'm going to do is that I need to still, this guy Urena has made this content here. It's sort of a speed run, right? But I'm not a pro in, so you see what the rig does. The universal sonic mouth rig setup, which I have in my character here, it's not, in this case it's not completed, right? But I can do very crazy mouth expressions here if I say no subdivision. Yeah, it's not completed here, sometimes it's very easy to brick it, right? So it's not easy to animate, and it depends on what we want, right? So despite the fact that I've been doing this over and over again on many characters, and I have been having okay results in some cases, and sometimes you need to compensate to get some extra shape keys. So you can get good mouth shapes, which would be very hard to do in other case scenarios of mouth rigging in Blender. But you see, it's not super easy to manipulate on my character design. Also the muzzle or the lower face, the geometry is not so smooth. There are some very angular shapes here and there, especially the chin here. So and as we have this curvature which is very deep down, so suddenly there's an angle that is sort of small angle here, and so this makes, when the mouth goes up, we have, it's hard to, sometimes you get some bad things, right? But in principle, yeah, this particular one is not, I haven't finished yet, and I know already that Boolean can make cartoony mouths. This could make things much easier, and we can use Boolean modifiers like inbuilt in geometry nodes, right, procedurally. And but the Boolean, it has a problem which is critical for me. So I was doing a solution with, I have to experiment, but this is not for, with convert. Yeah, you know, grease pencil works now in geometry node in Blender 4 point something, and then we can make a ellipse that is a and grease pencil, maybe you don't know, it has, we can mimic some volume of the grease pencil by rescaling its points individually, Alt S I think. So this can fake some ellipse volume, and then we just snap that thing on top of the, and you can use Boolean to create the mouth hole. So the problem that I have some very basic problems with the geometry nodes and with the rig setup, armature deform, and so then the armature stuff's conventional stuff. So I'm not sure if it could have some dependency cycles, some lagging because of geometry. So it's complicated, but it should be a simple setup to experiment. Yeah, I want to retrieve that. So sorry, let's go to the what matters here. So I have the universal sonic mouth rig setup, which is not completed here, and then this speed run, which okay, I will focus on the mouth, but you see, this is also very nice for the eyes or eye holes. So here you see some principle of lips volume. I think this can be reinforced by different methods, but the method I want to use is really the shape key, the anatomic shape key, and other shape keys, of course. The good thing of this, if this works on my rig, if this tutorial is good enough for the, I've watched entirely, but I didn't try to reproduce, just to watch and see, right? And apparently the steps seems to be well organized in the video enough so that it might be possible, it should be possible to reproduce it, right? So if this is, if what is the information here is correct, there is not, then this should be very, very accessible. But there's no voiceover, there's no comments, so it's just like this demo thing. But it's good, it's already an, it can be used. So, and we can reduce the velocity, the speed here. And so let's get here. Yeah, so I'm not expert in geometry nodes, but I've been learning in some occasions, and I think I am in touch with the UI, the base concepts now to try to reproduce this, but I'm gonna try this in sort of a challenging way because I'm applying it already to this rig model, because this is what matters for me. So if it can't work in these characters, I don't care about, right? So I need to, of course it would be easier to train, but no, I want challenge, right? Real challenge. And of course maybe this is a duplicate file, a copy somewhere else, so I can, if as I required, maybe I should end up deleting some stuff. Yeah, so let's try to ignore the, yeah, I'll disable everything. Maybe I'll have to delete some vertex groups, I don't know. So first I've disabled this stuff. I also not sure if this rig would work with normally with armature modifier. I don't know if the setup has anything to do with the one of Zadig, right? This one, so I don't know barely nothing. So I don't know if this one used that setup as well. Let's see. Seems downloadable. No, you can check this. Maybe it's using. Not sure if this is paid, but that is. I didn't know it was. Okay, we can download this too. Okay, it's free. We can contribute. Ah, so this is okay. Oh, it is paid. Okay, fair enough, right? So, but I don't know which setup it uses, unfortunately. Oh, we can download, so this can be good, right? So why I'm doing this, right? So I'm going not to download now. I'm gonna skip to this and try to understand what's going on, right, folks? If I really get in some point where I can't understand what's the steps, then I'm gonna try to file. Okay, so add a mesh. Let's reduce the sound. Okay, subdivide. So you have a. Okay, so you have two meshes. We have a. Let's see the first one. Was it subdivided? No, it is. Okay, so this is probably the face, the head. This is a plane. It is placed somewhere. Okay, we'll need to change the resolution here. This is globally on YouTube videos. Okay, so here we start to get this plane. So there might be some problem with the projection, maybe a projection problem, depending on the shape of the head of the face, but maybe not. But I know this because shrink wrap being feature, it has a project, and this project it will cause a lot. It will not be good in case where there is deepening depth, right? Depth. So if the mesh needs to be projected, it's a plane of projection, so that if there is something that dips down like the side of the ball, then that will ruin the shrink wrapping on that region. Okay, so I got some divisions. Okay, let's see. Alright. Okay, so I assume I already have the face. And then, very important, I need to know if the hole needs to be. This is fundamental for the shape key, anatomic ellipse shape key. If the hole is procedural, then I might not be able to use my technique. So I'll have to find another workaround. But I think in this case the hole are preset. So what we have here, just these loops, right? So yeah, I'm building the topology for a mouth, for an eye hole. So far there is nothing. Okay, then here apparently what we got some separation. What was this? We can speed down this. I think this is loop tools. I think, yeah, it's an extension. Then what is this? Circle, okay, no, nothing. Separate, okay, so this is what is separated? The eye and the mouth, right? So you have actually two meshes of the plane. Interesting. Why do you have different... Okay, so I'm gonna build that. So I'm gonna... Because I already have the face, I'm going to... Yeah, so I will destroy what I have here in this file. It's a duplicate anyway, so I'm gonna add a plane. Because I have the head, I won't care about that, so I'm gonna rotate now on edit mode, rotate this, no, rotate on the X, no, rotate on the Y here, scale this here, G normal, no, I'm using the global, GZ, scale here. He placed this mesh right in front of the... Okay, so I'm doing for the mouth, right? Let's scale down this. I don't know where should I position here, if it needs to be planar. So it looks like a projecting stuff, or this is just something like relative to the UVs, we'll find out. So apparently it was a square, right? Let's look again. Here we don't know what is the... Because it's for the eyes and the mouth, it's tried to... Okay, so I'll maintain it as a square, just in case, right? A small square. Alright. Let's just do this right then. I'm gonna make the subdivisions of that. Subdivide maybe here, then we can... It's just for the mouth, so actually let's do here, here, and actually why not use a mirror modifier here? I think it will be easier for now, otherwise I just apply mirror X clipping, and then let's get the proportional proportional editing. Oh, then okay, so to solve this we select these ones and hide these vertices, and now you can just try to edit. Okay, so this is plain like this, so it retains the plain thing. So I think this is already the side of the mouth, I'm not sure, so let's make another one just in case. And then what we had was a separation of the... Yeah, so actually, what is the topology of this again? Yeah, so there's a... These are not a completed topology. Let's do something. Sorry folks, so merge here. This one merge here, right? And maybe I dissolve this one. Instead, let's make this this side. Okay, it's maintained straight, that's fine. G here. We see that we have these triangles here, not good, so I'm gonna fix this by just J here. We can dissolve this one, and I'm gonna do the same thing here. So first dissolve this. Okay, so I have this face loop and this other face loop. Oh, I'm gonna keep this like this, and here, this is not a good face loop, right? If we dissolve here, what we got? Okay, there is something about here, so I'm gonna keep this structure, and it's like one face here, one face there, and there's even end gone. So anyways, probably is gonna fix that later. So I'm gonna pick this and separate selection. So now I have this and this. We're gonna bring this into different folders, right? We're gonna place this into this new. There we go. Now there's, okay, this we don't need those things. Okay, so this will be the lower face, and this will be the mouth. Yeah. All right. Saving here. Let's go back. So I'm ignoring the eyes. Just want to. If this rig really works, and there is a disadvantage though, it might be also better for the eyes, right? But this will be the next thing. The eyes rigging, yeah. Alright, then there is another problem, which is the fact that this is geometry node, so it's not really exportable from armature skinning, right? But there is something called alembic, which is something like that. It's like baking the position of the vertices. So I have no idea how that would work, like in a game engine, if that makes any sense. And the fact is that it exists for a reason, and it seems to be I never use, because I don't have much experience with game engines and these workflows, but it seems like, well, we can export animations, we can export many things, right? So because what can we, if this alembic is does what I think it can do, maybe not all game engines would be able to support it, also another problem or question. Then can it be combined with armature modifier? Like, can it, in the exporting, can it be recombined with the, so that we can bring inputs for external from Blender, then we can bring to that, don't know, game engine inputs for rigged model exported, right, from the skinning armature or skinning method, right, and from this alembic stuff as well. So then we could sort of export the output like baked frames, right, baked animations. They will add to the armature deform exported, right, baked as alembic. So that would be so powerful in theory that it would also be able to, we could also export dual quaternion skinning from Blender to anywhere that can hold this alembic format or stuff, content, right, data. So this will be very interesting. So this is why I want to find out, not whatever it costs, but it will be the last stage of this small research here. And if required, I would, yeah, probably I'll require to have a game engine to test this out. This could be Godot, could be Unity or Unreal. Currently I just have Godot installed, not even sure it. Yeah, so yeah, I could test out for Godot if there's any chance. We'll have to research. Okay, let's continue here. So basically, let's continue. So you have horizontal. box. Okay, so he's there's a target face. So it's like a ghost mesh. And since it's using this bound box, so okay, so here starts the geometry. Now let's see which object the target. Yeah, he picked the target. So apparently this target. Okay, let's use this as a target then. So the character, let's hide anything that is not relevant right now. In the worst case scenario, I can try to use the ghost muzzle which exists here as a target as well. And we can also try to mask everything here so it's easier to visualize. Yeah, let's use the subdivision, because now I want to mask. Yeah, so how to mask this? I'm gonna isolate the lower face, right? Okay, we're gonna use a mask here. Yeah. Lower face region. It's simple as that. All right. Alright, so get the geometry nodes. Numpad dot, what are those? Environment, we don't want this. Okay, maybe we should place it, yeah, let's place it alongside here. So, where is the geometry nodes to start with? Okay, so what happened to the other objects? They got deleted. Plane 001. Maybe they got parented. Because if they were deleted, the mesh would just disappear, right? I think they were parented. Alright, so they are parent to this for some reason. And then we need probably, so the geometry nodes, what will be? Okay, the target wants a box. So this is the target, right? And then this here. No, not this, not this, not this. Here, this geometry nose is the selected. You need the box there. It's just a visual, but should help. So you get the geometry nodes on the face, right? Okay, so add a geometry node. Let's add it after all of those things. Can also, so let's do like this. What is happening? Okay, doesn't matter. Then geometry nodes, we add a new here. For this, then where's the bounds box? Probably this is for this kind of visualization. It might not need to be perfect. Apply all transforms. New, then we got here. So what we need to do is to bring the wrong geometry node. Upgrade modifier. So here we got here, and there it is. So I already had this group inputs. So here we need to bring probably this one, right, into here. This lower face, yeah, it's not really lower face, but whatever. So here is object info. Let's see what this is about. It's currently, wait, it's bringing itself. Okay, so already it's bringing itself. Probably gonna need some specifications from here instead of the default one. Mesh attribute, no, point mesh read sample nearest surface. Okay, where would this mesh sample nearest surface? Okay. Geometry to mesh, vector, position value, sample position, the same. So where is the position thing? Where is the position coming from? Read position, geometry read position. Okay, read position of what? I don't know, but anyways, this comes to value. Shift right mouse button click to make this, and then connect sample position. So calculate the interpolated value of mesh attribute on the closest point of its surface. Okay, so there's probably something about some sort of mimicking shrink wrapping, I think. Probably if we research some examples with this nodes, we can see what it could be doing. Or just trying to see if this offers any result here. Okay, then we got this, then we got there, right? Then we have search, set position, geometry, then value to position. Oh, okay, so this is creating a sort of a shrink wrap. Interesting. Yeah, I've watched, so I have some memory still running on my brain about what I've seen here or how it should work. But value position. Okay, so already getting some geometry. Oh, relative, maybe need to target. Yeah, here. I feel like I did this wrong. This thing should be the containing the geometry node, right? Not the other. Yeah, so I don't know how I got this wrong. Probably those names confused me. Let's then bring this Control C. Control V. And here we change this to, yeah, get here we just delete that. I'll just disconnect those things. Now it's yeah, so this was I did the inverse, so this is really not helping. Let's, yeah, face target, and this is like mouth. Okay, no, mouth, muzzle, yeah, muzzle, whatever. And this we're gonna call mouth hole. Does this auto-update? Yes, well, I can't see now, but this is easier. Let's also protect this. Then, I'm curious about Alright, so does this how this operates regarding the first, the mouth is badly positioned, right? That is it. Yeah, it seems to be I don't know if it's as accurate as the shrink wrap modifier. It might be the... For now, let's do like this. I shouldn't be testing this here. It's just out of curiosity. Let's continue. Hold on, folks. Alright, let's continue here. Then... well, it's jumped in the... somewhere. Okay. Set position. Okay. I try to speed up here. Because this already... It's important to try to understand. This can be overwhelming, especially if you have zero experience of those, or you are still learning some. So subdivision surface, okay, we can do some subdivision. What? This is an addition in like, apparently he's not caring about displacing these vertices from the Y. So you can have a subdivision here, yes. Now, subdivision surface, Control X. Keep our boundaries level, edge crease, okay. I have limit surface, what is a new operator? Play option, place vertex at the surface that would be produced with infinite levels of... Okay, it's just an improvement maybe. Depending on the position there of that face can sort of affect if I did that. So this is the problem of this kind of projections, right? I don't know if it has to be aligned. It seems to matter. So this could cause some problems. So this is why I'm not trying to do this. I'm gonna keep it here, even though it makes no character design sense. So it is it seems to be projecting directly, right? So this can be okay. Anyways, we GG that. So this is one problem that I might be able to not... This is why you see the character design of this face is very round. Right, so... But on the other hand, the muzzle of my character on some region, right, closer to the mouth is also rounded. So if the mouth just had to navigate on the rounded surface, not too close to the chin, that should be the safe region. So this rig could still work. I can also try to polish the character design a bit more for this smoothness. Okay, let's continue here. There's a vertex group that we're gonna call face, and this will be assigned to, that will be assign to the assign to the whole face apparently. Okay, so all the vertexes. All right, let's continue then. Search capture attribute node, so this will be named attribute face. Okay, so you're trying to get a vertex group to have some float. Okay, face exist attribute face. Okay, capture attribute named attribute. Capture is attribute node, so there, and then named attribute is geometry read. Yeah, so here we got here, then we get the vertex group, its face. Is that this? Let's change here to face 2. Yeah, it is here, so it's point and then attribute we connect here, so this is capturing this attribute, I assume, for delete geometry. We want to delete some geometry that is, then join geometry. Face of the vertex group, we are changing the vertex group in real time, editing the vertex group. I don't know what this is doing, it's not showing. Selection, delete the selection. It's deleting a what was the color ramp, utilities color. Okay, then you have this let's see now what this means. View layer, I don't know what this means, so then we bring this to selection, right? It's a selection, we got this one here, and okay, if we take this out, nothing's happening. Okay, need to view. We are probably doing something wrong here. Linear, oh, it's inverted. Okay, I don't see any difference here. Okay, maybe there's more. Point all. In this case, it's like the meshes were joined, but no, there's no joining here, so plane. The face has a hole. Why the other? Okay, this is the edited face. Oh, his original face there is not holed, despite the parented part. Okay, so it's apparently this is getting its own child into, well, I'm already yeah, I assume it was parented, so it's not using the screencast key, so it can't be sure what's going on here. But we see that this is not then after delete the geometry we extrude, so maybe this will not be important for okay, so this is risky for my project because the not individual. Let's see how this is handled. Yeah, my geometry is different, so there is also mirror modifier there, so oh yeah, maybe the mirror modifier is getting this broken, right? So let's apply. Well, what I can do here is duplicate this and apply it before. No, still having problem with this. Could be that the armature it's conflicting with something on the rig. Which also has a mirror modifier. Or maybe it has shape key. Let's delete the shape keys. Where I start to get wrong is the join mesh. Yeah, when we in which mode I'm on. So this extrusion is not working at all. Let's try to oh yeah, I was having this thing here. Okay. There's some oh yeah, there's because the puffed cheeks were okay. It's normal that it be like that. That's a disruption of the mouth surface, but that's okay. And are these faces inverted? Okay, so this the only thing I don't know about these ones, but these vertex group things, maybe it won't affect, but the problem is that I'm already destroying the geometry from the base. Well, here that will be done procedurally. That could cause some issues. The fact is that I have possession of this vertex for any sort of, how should I put it, as some sort of shape keys manipulation. That's it. So this is a good point about this idea. Okay, apparently we are getting some weird artifacts there. Of course, I don't have a mirror modifier here, so this is let's just bevel these things then, or also merge by distance. Yes. Okay, this is not working. So if this rig works, then even though the alembic, if it works regarding the everything that I need, so maybe, yeah, of course I would need the alembic setting. That will be like for other kind of projects, right? It will be sad, but for what I need to do, this will be good, how to say, cartoon rig setup, right? And that should even be considered in some sense an upgrade from the Universal Sonic Mount rig, right? So let's do this and ignore the consequences. Alright, let's continue here. We are here, so hold on. Yeah. Extrude, join mesh, right? What you get? Join geometry. Then we have wireframe, face, okay. Flip faces, okay. Flipping, why flipping this? Distance by, merge by distance. Okay, so this is like what I'm not understanding here is that there is just one object. Wait, separated and rejoined. Okay, so maybe this merge is probably are merging the vertices here procedurally after the join geometry, which is okay. I think I got it. So it was not. There's a child. This is wrong. So what we want actually is to get this and join here. This is in a wrong spot. Let's disable this for a moment and let's what else? Never works for me, grid fill. I'll mirror this thing. So we're gonna snap just in case. SY0, there we go. Delete those vertices, then this is why I've kept this, then looks like I have a problem here. Fixed, then we shift D, then we apply, hide, then save, then I'm going to, so there's, I'm gonna pick this which is part of the mount, P selection. Ah, that's why I hit your join, of course. That wasn't clear at all, because it is separated, but it's in the same, so it will suffer the same procedural stuff, except that now, we need the vertex group, so this we go back to the wave paint mode here. So phase 2, we're gonna remove this. There we go. And so now we need to re-enable this stuff. Alright, so see what starts to happen. Alright, so this is the trick. That's why I'm critical about those quick, or I never like too much speed runs, least for tutorials, but I like for artistic demonstration. I recognize they have value. Even myself, I've made one, and it was actually funny, but it's good content. It's good for seeing the workflow, and of course it economizes time in relation to explaining everything step by step, and even commenting takes time, but so whoever will gonna do it will have an easier time. With just a few commentings can make the difference between being successful or not, or the spending of hours or days or weeks instead of just minutes. Anyways, it's working, but you see it's not. It will be much simpler with explanations. Let's get here the continuation, right? Also because I'm noobish in geometry nodes, right? So there's also something to take into account, right? Alright, if I were expert or more advanced, intermediate at least, then everything will be smoother, right? Because it will be by nature. Okay, then we have, so we need a little new more stuff here. So apparently he wants to I'm getting those face deleted though already from this, so why build more? It's like those things will be reused for something. Okay, there's the flipping of the face too, so let's return. Okay, joining geometry, so nothing new here. Okay, we know this part. Okay, this is good demonstration. Then flip face after on top of extrude. Okay, it's a very simple one. And if we check, okay, nothing is, because this, they changed the way this works. Wow. Okay, I'm not able to see the flipped face. I don't know what's going on. This is not solidify, so alright, so there's something wrong here. This joint geometry, okay, it's not connected there. Okay, this merge, then there's the merge by distance, which will merge, I think, the hidden mesh there. That we're gonna, but I'm frustrated about this mesh orientation thing. That, what is going on? It looks like my Blender is, I prefer the old behavior. Yeah, so there's something about this. Can I search here somewhere? I know that it exists. Blender 4.4 recover face orientation. Now this is long time ago. Ah, this is the right question. Maybe it's a bug, but it should be. How? Okay, face orientation, so it's a theme. It's a theme thing, who would know? Okay, so apparently this double-faced mesh, so this is why this is. And strangely, here on edit mode, it's showing like that. Let's disable this. Okay. It's because this is like being modified, so on edit mode it goes there, so this is why we need this actually. Yeah. It's being modified, and but it's strange how it gets when does it extra geometry? Oh, extra geometry, of course. Yeah, that I totally forgot. Sorry, folks. So of course, when we delete the geometry, of course that will happen. What mode is this? Object mode, right? There's an extrusion, this is why we are getting this. Then if we don't have this one, then before deleting the geometry, okay, this is specific to the state, right? Alright, that was the helpful thing. And let's continue this. And clear what this merge is for here. Maybe about the extruded mesh, maybe. Flipped face, yeah, there are different geometries. Because joining geometries, okay, they might still be mesh islands, separated mesh islands on the same mesh object. And again, okay, this other join is for getting again the faces back from that state, right? So with the basics of geometry nodes, you see that it's not so daunting. So Shift D. And so here we get this part, right? So this will be for DI, I guess. And I don't get why it is. What is this value here? This is probably a mistake, right? And we have deleted geometry, face selection. Why this is for, it's uncompleted, I guess. Add a material to the, yeah, the face, subface. Set materials. Okay, I have some materials here, let's use whatever. Looks like this is not working. I think this was not here, just maybe just here. No. Yeah, these are, of course, material preview here. So I think it was here anyways. Can have a shade smooth for that. This looks like Super Mario Bros. 2. There's some creature. This guy might have played this game, or at least seen the creatures. And then adding a subdivision surface modifier, okay. So we have made more than half of the tutorial, so there will be some controllers in the end. Not sure how. Okay, so you ignore the subdivision. They were making some more subdivisions here, which is interesting to see what it does to the procedural. I'm not sure what's happening to the. Okay, so he's extruding the. Not extruding, he's rescaling the differentiated mesh inside the mesh island, right? So that means that this mesh here if only I can see where it is. Okay, for some reason it's not allowing me to have access to the mesh seems locked. Is this crazy? No, I'm somewhere in. No. Okay, it seems glitched. Maybe some layout thing. No. So I can. He was basically doing this. Now we are back to normal now. Alright, so save here. Let's go back to the geometry nodes. something about this viewport that is something about the overlays, I don't know. Right. So maybe you should bring that thing. The recommendation was doing this, but without explanation why, right? Instead of directly going to the workspace. So this is one reason apparently. I don't know how to prevent this now. Added a what? Added okay, when did mirror modifier was added? Mirror geometry node, then subdivide, okay. So you can use a mirror, that should be fine. And by changing the by shaping the vertices, we should be able to have a responsive setup. Yes. So of course we are still suffering from artifacts that caused by many other dynamics here, but in principle this, because this relates more like shaky stuff, that means there is a chance we can prevent some skinning algorithm, or yeah, it's like we're doing the correctives on the flow, on the fly. The problem is that yeah, we need to create some controllers from this. We'll see how that will be done. So if it is done by vertex ways, what is this? This looks like an add-on. Mesh to bone item. It seems to be some sort of wave paint add-on. Set bone to selected vert. Okay, it creates, okay, it generates bones. Sort of a skin modifier that does something like that. Creates an armature per point. So it's like one vertex per point bone. Or not sure. Let's revise this. Yeah, sort of a one. So this is the way trying to control the mesh with some precision, right? But this still doesn't solve the problem of the skinning method, right? But because the mesh is simplified, it's analyzed like that, these controls can be made more precise. But imagine if the whole body has, you control the vertex. How do you pose a character in that, right? So you need to automate then the bones. For the face, apparently this works well in some, so I'm not sure what is the waves of these bones, but this, I think it's not the big question here. It's very important, riggers, to show the waves, right? Okay, here the wave paint mode. Then we can see that the waves are, oh, they're gonna be paint manual. So I thought he was giving waves like the skin modifier. So it's apparently it's a one vertex wave point, right? Except on this for these corners. So this is the thing that I was talking about. This will offer some, there's double vertices there. They get merged procedurally by the geometry nodes, and then what we get is this kind of, remember there will be subdivision surface modifier. So this is horrible, but when it gets subdivision, both procedurally and by subdivision surface modifier, it seems that it will be working very nice. So this idea of make a facial rig with per point, right, bone per point, per vertex is very interesting. I had no idea this sounds old school in this aspect, but actually this sounds that it will be very, very good. Okay, then symmetrize, right, so we have some things to fix. So I think definitely this is not like the Zadig thing. What is the last one? So geometry nodes and subdivision, yeah. So the idea of, so why two subdivisions though? Why the subdivisions from the and what is the rest position for the mesh? You see, just like the Universonic melt rig, sort of a wide mouth. Other rigs would slightly open in this case. Regular geometry, right? So we have skinning. We have per bone many. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's count in the. Very important. Look at the geometry of the. This is subdivided, right? But 1, 2, 3, yeah, 1, 2, 3. There are 3 bones for the corners, top, bottom, and side. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 bones. No, actually, sorry. 5, so 10, 12 bones for the mouth. And for the eyes, of course, my cartoon eyes are different. There would be like, I think it was 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8, like an octahedral. And here's some facial structure which are less relevant, but okay. And an octahedral circular with subdivision, so it's one subdivision modifier after everything, and a subdivision modifier. I think all of level 1, it's disabled, now it will be re-enabled. Let's see again what is the levels here when it makes it. Okay, 2 for render, 1 for level 1 for the, and the one from the geometry nodes was also, I think, kept at level 1. Yeah, so it will have 2 subdivisions, so it can be very smooth. So actually I was expecting this would be a complicated special geometry node setup like the one of the rig, but actually I'm not sure why it's even using geometry nodes, to be fair. There are other ways, maybe it's more for the eyes, but can't say anything yet about this without testing, but we know that's now. So this is about more than the geometry nodes. Yes, this set position, it might be different than the shrink wrap feature, so this we must be careful about, because maybe it's better. And I like this technique here he presented about the vertex to bone in a very analytic way, let's say like that, right? This approach, I was using 3 bones for the mouth, 2 bones for the mouth corner, but now these 3 bones for the mouth corner, that sounds important. 8 for the eye, but the eye of my character is not that roundish. As you can see, but it doesn't mean that we can't have like a per bone. I have bendy bones, right? But maybe with more splines, or maybe this setup with relying lots on subdivision surface modifier. Maybe 1 is enough, right? To be fair. You see, I have way more than 8 vertices here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and but I just have 1 subdivision surface modifier. So that compensates, right? So I don't think I can't model this with a lower mesh, right? Density. Yeah, I can probably figure out some here, but take off some ones, but subdivide. So yeah, instead from 8 he'll get 16 with 1 subdivision, then from 16 he'll get 32 with another subdivision. I think this is accurate. So basic arithmetic, so here I should have less than 16, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14, yeah, slightly less, and subdivided 1. So it's sort of equivalent. What is not equivalent is that I don't have 1 per point bone, and the character design is different. So because it's different, if I don't make it smooth enough, I'm gonna change the rest position and all that. I won't explain this now. I'm reassessing some stuff here, and no, that means that I will have, yeah. So the question is that, is he getting the good results because of the point per vertex on regular deformed bones? Is he getting the good result because of this sample nearest face surface set position? This is the shrink wrap mimetizer. I don't remember this. I think there is a shrink wrap, isn't it? Shrink. No, there's shrink wrap here. So maybe I've seen this before, but that seems. I think it's analog, but maybe it works like a surface deform instead. So I can't be sure here, folks. If it's better than a shrink wrap modifier, this is a good news. But maybe it's equivalent. Maybe you can actually get some specifications here. Can't we change? Yeah, so that might be interesting to play with. Maybe there's something else that we can define as a shrink wrapping feature, right? Anyways, then I don't know what's happening there, but it doesn't matter. Then, oh, it's just intersection. It's because this was a ghost mesh, right? The target, right? Of course, then there's a problem here. Of course, then what is the real face, right? And what we do with the the point vertex to bone, or bone to vertex, no, vertex to bone skinning method technique, right? This is interesting, with subdivision. The 14 lips bones, lips deformed bones. The inverse sonic mouth rig has 8. Has just one for the mouth chord, so it's 1, 2 of the center, 2, 3, 4. Is that it? No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 the other side, yes, 7, 8. So a little more for the so yeah, a very impressive results. Yes, the stylized characters. The technique seems to indicate, this method here seems to indicate that we can totally get well, no, I will have to verify that. Let's okay, I'm gonna use my technique here. Let's make a shape key here. So we're gonna this will get shrink wrapped, right? I see the limitation, so we'll need to not allow this mesh to shrink wrap. Is there a way to tell the okay, like we're gonna do this like anti-shrink wrap. I'm gonna call this like 0.9, actually 0.2 sign, and this one actually, yeah, sign everything, but these ones we're gonna get 0.2. These ones we're gonna zero 0.7. Gonna capture attribute. I never did that. I don't know if this is possible. We're gonna change this to anti-shrink wrap and connect this to okay, geometry and this doesn't seem to did I wave paint this properly? Need to check what happens, right? It seems to stay stick, right? Yeah, it doesn't. I cannot separate I cannot set exactly which parts of the mesh to shrink wrap. So this sounds to be ineffective. So yeah, the technique is limited in this easy approach. There is a variation, but it's not on along this distance. So this is like it's the same it's not, maybe not the same problem that of the Zadig geometry nodes, which I don't know how for the wing it. But if you look at the rigged models, yes, we can build the shape keys for the expressions, but I'm not sure if we can build volume leaps like in the universal Sonic now rig. We can, even on the original, but there's not an anatomic leaps. There are other shape keys that can make some other stuff, right, that resembled it, but the anatomic leap was an idea that we can build on top of it. And in this setup, without any special thing, we can't do this. Maybe we can't do this at all. We would need to have these vertices attached and then stop to be attached. Like, I do that, right? They are procedural recycling, I guess. They would need to maintain their position, their updated position, from then have the modification, right? Spatial modification of the morph, the shape key. But the good news, or maybe not good news, but one interesting thing is that yeah, we saw some things relevant here for mouth rigging and for the eyes rigging, right? The amount of vertices currently for me was 14, I count. So 14 times 2, it will be 28 instead of 32 for the eye. This eye would have in the end 32 vertices. Then there is the question: are these better than bendy bones? Well, you see that the positions are nice, but for posing this rig for animation, it might not be so good, right? In terms of the control rig, right? So the expressions are very exaggerated and very nice, right? So this is very, very good for certain cartoony designs. I need more of this on my... So I need to break down more those splines, I guess. Yeah. And make it's easier to do in this character design because, right, it's very stretch and squishy. I can't do this... if I do this, exactly this, I'll destroy my model. But something here I need to get to. So there's two things that interest me. So the geometry nodes process, in the end, it was not what I expected, but it's good. The new techniques here to learn from, they can help some things here and there. But yeah, 3 bones here instead of 1 in the universal Sonic mouth rig, and about 28 to 32 vertices around the eye. Of course, the shape of the eye, the eye of my character originally is not like this. Although there is one crazy thing I was... What about making the rest position of the eye rounded like that? So I have like... And then yeah, this is the kind of thing that is crazy, but sometimes it can work. So that works for the mouth. what I've tried for the eyes once on my character design was to get the what I tried once in regarding to the inversonic Meldrig, the regular geometry, was to have the eyelids like flat, like here, or horizontal, and this didn't really help anything, because I expected then the curvature of the, which were already good by the way, of the opening and closed eyelids will be, and maybe eyelashes as well, but especially would be better, but to no avail. Maybe it was better in the end, but it sacrificed the character design. So of course I did just for the eyelids and not for the entire eye, which would be the correct approach, I think. Then that means that I would need some sort of repositioner bones that will shape this eye shape, a very diagonal eye, alien eye, with almost like a, could be shape key, yes, but maybe better than shape key, I guess, would be just reposition the, because you have a circular thing, so it's just easy to reposition those bones on a pose asset, or even a new rest position where you have the control bones will immediately snap those deformed bones to the character design rest position. Where this is bad, of course, for the modeling the character, yeah. So this is because then you model, you have to make the circular eye and sort of expecting that it will be reach a good position. It can be very confusing in the end, but we can model this way, then revert, a lot of headache, to the circular and then reposition the bones. So it's, the deforms in the end might be better, but there still be problems then if we need to go back and forth of the character design. And if we make this as a shape key from there could be problems in the, okay, hold on. If we made this in a shape key, we don't get rid of the fact that the rest position is still rounded, circular eyes, but we can still have, like we could have an anatomic eyes that would give the character design anatomy, which is this shape. That means that the deforms will still be regular on top of that. This could create some weird things, but in principle that should deform very well, even better than what I have here, spontaneously. But the problem is that I would have to model the character. Yeah, I would. It needs a workflow in which I have a basis shape key, an atomic eye. Okay, so I have to, the eyes, the eyelids, the eye contours, whatever, the orbicularis, oculi muscles, the shapes around the eye, right? Not the eyeball itself, which can be a static element. Then we need a workflow in which, okay, the basis is circular, I model my character there, but then to adjust the mesh to the character design, I start to work on the shape key. So it's like, no, we can't have anything here. It needs to be something solid, structurally solid. And from that, if we think we reach, then we use this to adapt to the character design. So the adaptation to the character design will be this one, and this will be more of an abstract. So we can still do this. but for this case, but it's too bizarre. And it's not that I can't get good deforms for these eyes, but it's not trivial, and this I'm gonna correct. So folks, this was the one of these so now I would have to test here if this is equivalent to shrink wrapping, right? We can turn this off. Let's see if we can. You see, this is what I was trying to do on the. There's this idea that we can use can pose the object itself to do like but then we have a problem, of course, with the mesh that is closer, like how do we connect the mesh, so this is not good, right? Could never find a solution for that, so this is the layering of the wave paint, the vertex group, this one. So if this is equivalent to in many ways it is equivalent, right? So okay folks, so this was the demonstration. At least I was successful and got some extra tricks here. So I'm gonna take notes of them in my to-do list, because probably you can use something about for the 3 bones for the corner of the mouth. Maybe it's better than 3. And for the eyes, I need to reassess this idea of the bendy bones and the vertex per bone thing. And so that's it, folks. Thanks for watching, take care, happy blending, see you soon. I'll be back today anyways for more streaming, but on the progress of something else. I think I'm not gonna continue with the other experiments expected for this, because the alembic here, like, probably there is not so much for this particular geometry nodes approach that would matter too much. We can substitute probably for shrink wrap modifier, I think, and without it needing to be the inverse sonic mouth rate setup. So no alembic, and the anatomic shape key we saw that it doesn't seem to work unless I found a way to adapt this. And maybe I can write something for the author of the geometry node, this rig setup, and maybe he has an idea, geometry node solution for that. That will be interesting. See ya, folks. Take care and happy blendering.